Okay, hi guys, my name is Sergeant McLean and I'm in the Criminal Justice Program here at CTEC and my home school is Licking Valley. So I'm going to take you guys through this box that you're going to be getting and I'm going to show you how to do some of the activities in there so you understand a little bit better about what our program is about. So this is what the front of the box looks like and you're just going to open it and pull some of the stuff out. So one of the things that's in this box is actually a little paper like this, and you have a little picture right here. So if you take your phone and you go to your camera and you hold it over this, it takes you to a website and a link that gives you more options to more activities, so you can learn a little bit more about our program. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is actually a folded activity book. So it looks like this on the front. And the front has contact information and it gives you the instructions on how to apply to CTEC if you're actually really interested in coming here. So I think if you are interested in the criminal justice program, it is a great program and you should definitely apply. Okay, so the first activity in this book that I'm going to go through with you guys is it's a picture and you have to study it for 1 minute, and then you open up this pamphlet just like that and you answer the questions that are on the inside. So I'm going to start my timer for 1 minute. And I'm going to examine the picture just like it says to, and then I'll be back to you guys. Okay. So now that the minute's up, you're going to open up the inside and you're going to answer the following questions based on the photo that you just examined. So there's 4 questions, and they're yes or no questions, and then there's one where you have to explain what you're looking at. So that's what this activity in the corner right here is. So you're going to answer those questions, and then you're actually going to close it up, you're going to fold it back down, and in the corner there's a crime scene sketching area, and this is a part of the criminal justice field, and it's super important because if you're at a crime scene, you have to draw out what you see as another way for people to look at evidence and stuff like that. So there's a little box right here, it says crime scene sketching. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna get your pencil and you're gonna basically draw out what you see there. It doesn't have to be 3D or anything fancy because it's not to scale. Not to scale just means it's not the actual size. So you're just gonna draw out, you can draw stick figures and you can just draw like little shapes as what you see. So I'm gonna do that real fast. Okay, so pretty much what I just did is I just did a really rough sketch of what I see in the picture. So it doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be 3D, anything like that. It's really just a little bit of a scribble, pretty much, of what you see in that picture. And then when you're showing this as evidence, it'll help other people understand what happened at the crime scene. And most of the time you'll have measurements, so you'll have a measuring tape and you can take measurements of the walls and stuff like that. So that's kind of what it looks like. It's just it's a quick scribble, it doesn't have to be perfect or anything like that. So after you draw it, you're gonna open it back up, and you actually have in your box, you actually have a strip of ink right here, and then you also have a ink removal wipe, so because it's kind of hard to get off your hands, so you have to use the wipe to get it off. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna peel this open so you can access the ink, which it might be a little bit hard to open. There you go. So you're gonna peel it open just like this so you can access the ink on the inside. And make sure if you make sure when you set it down, you don't flip it over and set it down because you'll get ink everywhere. So once you peel it open, lay it down with the non-ink side down so you don't get ink everywhere. Okay, so now what you're gonna do is you have a space on this pamphlet where you can dip your fingers in the ink and actually place it down on the paper, and you have fingerprint identification areas up here where you can see what your fingerprint is actually gonna look like with names and everything. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the ink strips and you're gonna put it on the edge of a table. So edge of the table right here. And there's labels on here that tells you finger, like first finger, index finger, middle finger, and thumb. And then at the very bottom, you're gonna do 4 of your fingers, just like that. All right, so I'm gonna start with my pointer finger. So what you're gonna do, pull the ink to the edge of the table and start with one side of your hand, or one side of your finger on the side of the table, just like this. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna place it down on the ink and roll your finger all the way over it. Put it on the edge and roll your finger all the way over and try to get the top of it a little bit. So when you're done rolling it, it should look something like this. So it should only be the top of your finger, okay? And then you're gonna come to the paper and you're gonna find where it says index finger. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna roll your finger right over top of the paper, just like you did on the ink, so you can see what your fingerprint looks like. And it should look something like that. So we're gonna do all of your fingers. So you have your index finger, and then you have your middle finger. And fingerprinting is something that's super important because you do it a lot when you're in the jail system. You have to fingerprint every person that comes in. So this is not just a skill that, you know, you are doing at CTEC. You're gonna be doing it in the career field, so it's super important that you take your time when you're doing this, because it's gonna be something that you use almost every day in your job. And there's a second one. There you go. And then do your pinky finger. And one thing that's important for you to do when you're rolling your fingers on here like that, you have one line at the very top of your finger where it bends. You only want to get ink from the top of your finger down to that line. You don't want to do your whole entire hand until the very end. So you pull the paper to the edge of the table and you roll your finger. Okay, now I'm going to do my thumb. Alright, so that's one hand done. So that's what the one hand looks like. That's all my individual fingers, okay? And then at the bottom, you have an area where you're gonna take 4 of your fingers, not your thumb, okay? 4 of your fingers, and you're gonna go right here in this space. So what you wanna do is you wanna re-roll your fingers and put more ink on there, because once you've already done these ones, the ink's gonna be kinda dry. So you're gonna re-roll them, and then you're gonna put 4 fingers right here, and then there's 2 spaces right here where you actually do your thumb, but only your thumb, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and do that. So I'm gonna switch to my other strip of ink, bring it to the edge of the table. And this time, this is when you're going to want to do your whole finger. And if you have rings on, like I do, you might wanna take them off because you're gonna get ink on them. So you're gonna roll the top of your finger again, but you're also gonna get the area below that. So you wanna get the 2 areas like that one. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna pull the paper to the edge of the table, and you're just gonna lay your hand down flat in that area with your 4 fingers and take your other hand and just push down. Don't roll because then it's gonna mess up the print and you won't be able to see it clearly. So what you're gonna do, pull the paper to the edge of the table, take your 4 fingers only, and put this, you might wanna do it at an angle so you can fit them. So put your hand down and then take your other hand and just tap down a little bit, just tap. But don't rub your hand around because then it's gonna smudge the prints and you won't be able to see it very clearly. Okay, and there we go. It should look something like that. There we go. And now we're gonna do my thumb. And for your thumb, you just place it down and then just roll your finger up. Or you can do side to side, but I like to roll my finger up. So that's what it'll look like. And you'll do this for both hands, okay? So I'm only gonna do one because it gets all over your hands, okay? That's why you have the wipe off to the side because it's a little bit messy. But I'm only gonna do one hand. I'm gonna clean my hand off real fast. And if it doesn't come off with the wipe, just wash your hands. It'll come off. It's a little bit hard to get off, so it might take you a couple washes to get it, but it won't stain your hands. Okay. So, now that you have fingerprinted yourself, or even you can fingerprint somebody else, whatever you want to do. Now that you have completed that, just move all your stuff off to the side. But now that you have completed that, there is the compare and identify the fingerprint area. So that is this area right here that I told you about earlier. And this has all the names to what your shapes look like. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna look at those boxes and then you're gonna look at your fingerprint and circle the areas that you think look like one of these, and then you're gonna identify it, okay? This is just gonna show you what type of fingerprint you have, and it's gonna help you like understand how you would identify what somebody's fingerprint looks like. And every person has a different fingerprint. There's not one person that has an identical fingerprint to somebody else. So you have specific marks on your fingers. So this is how we identify people coming in and out of jail. So we're just gonna look at it and we're gonna look at these boxes up here. So on mine, I can see that I have a right loop. So I'm gonna circle the right loop on this paper. And then I'm gonna draw a little line and I'm gonna write right loop. Just like that. Just like that. And this is something that you use every day, like I said, so it's super important that you take your time and you have fun with it. I hope you guys enjoy the activities, and I really hope to see you at CTech as juniors next year.